Howdy, Beeflo Bart here, and welcome. The chair situation. Ain't I cool looking? I look awesome, right? Okay, so I haven't finished putting the right key bindings in here just yet, but the problem that I ran into early on was I come over here and I go to sit down in the chair. Okay, no problem. But it kept losing the locations. I got to tweak the chairs a little bit. But if I came over here to sit into a different chair, it would actually teleport me back over to the first chair that I went to. So I did come up with a new system for setting variables for the transform for the location of where I'm going. So that part's fixed. So if I come over here, I can sit down in this chair, no problem. I can get up, no problem. If I come over here, I want to sit on the commode, I can do that, no problem. If I'm being super cool and I'm in first person view and I'm running around and I'm going to go over here and I want to sit down, I got to get close enough, and then it forces me back into third person view on purpose. And there we go. Can sit, everything's awesome, right? I can get back up, everything's awesome. Still having some issues with the getting up and down. See, his feet were in the air, and that's because of the collision, I guess, on the actual chairs themselves. And yes, you can even come over here and sit in the porta potty. The porta pooper. Howdy, dude. And you get back up, and it throws you outside, and you're good to go. So that's all working. So what's my major complaint? Okay, my major complaint is the replication in multiplayer. So to show that, the only way I can do that is I go over here to play, change this to 2, new editor window. It'll take me a second here to actually scale them correctly so you can see both of them. Normally I have them on separate monitors, but that doesn't work too well with streaming. So it's going to take a moment here to resize these windows so you can see both. Okay, this is the server. I am the server on the left side over here. Yay, it's awesome. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to sit down in the porta potty, and you can see the client saw that just perfectly well. So now here I am on the client. Come over here and I'm looking right at homeboy sitting on the commode. One of the things I do need to do is make it to where it's no longer available. If someone's sitting in a chair, then yeah, nobody else is going to be able to do it. So with our client, I'm going to switch back over here to the server, and I'm going to get up. Looks good, right? A little bit of teleporting, but whatever. So I'll come over here and I'll sit on the toilet. The server sees everything just fine. So let's actually go over here to the client, and I'm going to sit in the chair next to and watch what happens. I hit E to enter the chair. Gets thrown in on the server side. Watch the animations. It's really choppy. When I go to sit down, it immediately goes to a T-pose, teleports me around a little bit, and then it puts me in the seated position. But if you notice, the client, I can see his head moving. He's in the idle animation. You can see the server. He's doing the idle animation for sitting. They're both got the head bob going on. But as I'm looking in the client view, in the server view, look at the position of the client in this view. The client is sitting a foot above the damn chair and is not actually doing the animation. It's smooth as glass for the client to see everything. Everything's working great. But if you watch on the client side, it looks good, on the right side. But if you notice what's happening on the server side, the server sees the animation really choppy. When I go to sit down, I throw a T-pose, teleport a couple times, and then I sit down in the wrong location. But the server's sitting in the right location. The client sees himself in the right location, but the server does not. So see how it looks in the right screen, the server is seeing, the client is seeing everything perfect, but the server is showing the client in the wrong position. So I'm going to get up as the server and just kind of pan around a little bit and look. Why is it doing that? Replication must be working pretty good. You know, if the client sees everything correctly, why does the server not see it correctly? So again, I'm going to come back over here as the client, and I'm going to get up. You see it throws a T-pose, it's really choppy, and then it's back to normal. I can see the idle animation while standing idle, no problem. Jumping, no problem. Everything else is working just fine until I go to sit down. You see that T-pose, the multiple teleportations, and the server sees the client in the wrong location. The only thing that I can think of is this is a problem with, and look, he's sitting correctly in his own view, but you look in the server view and really? He's just totally not right. But the client sees it in the correct location. So why is the server and the client not seeing the same locations? Yeah, it is absolutely just blowing my mind why this crap is not working. And if you look at the player, what I've done is whenever you hit the E key, it's verifying that you're at the chair, no problem. And if you are at the chair, then the first E key press, you're going to sit in the chair. The second one, it's going to get up. Get on up. So whenever you go to sit down in the chair, this is the custom event for that. This is reliable and run on server, but it's running a multicast of this. And I can move this over a little bit so you can see that this is not connected to the rest of them. So the multicast event is actually this, and it's multicast and reliable. Can change view is false. It forces you into third-person character view. It's getting the chair transform, which is the location of where your butt's going to sit on the chair. It breaks that, and it sets the actual location and rotation to be the correct location to park your butt on the chair. It's going to deactivate your movement. It's going to play an animation montage for this. Play animation works just fine. The other option would have been to play animation montage. And I could try that. So I'm just going to place this here. And the animation, it's stand to sit. So I'm going to go ahead and stand to sit. And I'm going to reroute this to here. And this to here. But the play animation for sitting idle, it's not a montage. It's actually just a, just an animation. So what I can do is actually go over here to my animations and sitting, I'm going to right click on sitting idle and create animation montage, and that's all I need to do. It just created a new montage. So I am gonna come back in here, and where this one is, I'm going to do the same thing. Control C, Control V. I'm going to play animation montage, and I'm going to hook this into here and this into here. I'm going to make sure I break this line. And I need to make sure that I'm getting that reference from the mesh. So grab from the mesh to target. No, it doesn't need it. Okay. Play animation did, but play animation montage, it's just getting reference to self. So what happens if I compile and save? And we need to change this one over to sitting idle montage, compile and save. Maybe I was just using the wrong node here, but originally what I was using was play montage, and this was not working. I didn't see play animation montage. This did not make a difference whatsoever. So let's hit compile and save, and now let's go back in here and play, and let me go ahead and resize. Yeah, I know that I can make these be a specific window size. I'm not going to change that because I normally have them in different windows or different monitors. So let's see if this actually makes a difference here. So here's the server. Server, yay, flying around, doing its lovely thing. Gonna park his butt on the commode. And you see it didn't work. Getting up was fine. When I come over here to sit down, it's not playing the montage. It's not sitting down. So let's try the client. The client's going to come over here, and he's going to sit in the chair next to him, sit down, did some of that weird teleporting stuff, and the animation montage just doesn't work. But if I hit E to get out, you can see he throws a T-pose, and yeah. So play animation montage is not working either. So I'm just going to relink that back in. Break that. I can actually just delete that because it just didn't work. And just relink that back in. And I'll just do this one as the montage as well for play animation. Sitting idle montage. Compile and save. Now, getting up here is basically the same thing. It's making sure that we are sitting. And then it goes through all this and this and this. I need to move this guy because what's happening is you could still sometimes, you were able to start moving around before your animation was set back to normal again. So we'll just do that and put it right there. So that should fix that issue. But now with play animation, the animation is looping for that. So now let's try playing. And again, got to do this every freaking time. It's only because I'm streaming. Like I said, normally I'd have this on the other monitor and not worry about it. So let's grab the client, resize its window. Okay, server. I'm going to run over here, and I'm going to have a seat on the commode. It's working just fine. Weird T-pose at the end. That could be fixed. But now I'm going to come over here, and you saw the server in the left window. It now is not showing that the client is even in the sitting position. So it hates that. It hates the fact that I'm using that. That's not working correctly, and it's not replicating correctly. Sitting idle montage just did not work. So it works even less. So let's put this back on sitting idle, and if I run this as sitting or stand to sit as the animation, stand to sit animation, hit compile and save. Now running this as a animation, I'm going to run over here, put the server in the commode, no problem. Come on, resize the window. I can only think there's just got to be a problem with 4.2. So server, we're going to come on over here and sit down. Why is it in the wrong location? And why is it not showing the actual animations? The color of the toilet won't matter until you can actually sit on them correctly. The client sees everything correctly. Why is it choppy as hell? It's not showing the sit down animation, and I'm looking, the client can see the server doing the animation, but if you look on the server side, the client is not moving his head. He's not doing the idle animation while sitting idle. So I have no clue, and I don't know why it's actually sitting above the chair in this view. The server sees the client sitting in the wrong damn location, but the client sees everything just fine. It's like the client is not able to broadcast correctly to the server what it's actually doing. Now, in other animation replication things, what I would normally do is I would actually do everything in the animation blueprint, and I can still come back in here and just break all this stuff and not delete it, but just break it so it's not working, and actually go into the animation blueprint and see, this is a standard animation blueprint. I hate the way they have it laid out, so I'm going to get rid of that stuff. And yes, I'm going to waste a few moments of my precious time here to actually rearrange this. Just because I don't like the way it's set up. Alright, so the animation blueprint. This is a normal animation blueprint. So what I want to do now is I want to create a variable, and the variable that I need to work with is going to come from the player base. Because what we're doing here is, and like I said, I'm just going to break all this stuff for right now. So nothing is doing anything. So I can still use these two custom events. They're fine. And I don't have to change anything here. So what I want to do for now is go into my animation blueprint, and whenever I'm sitting down, I am setting the is sitting. I'm also want to go ahead and let's create a variable, begin sitting, and let's compile and save. So we have that variable is in here, begin sitting. So if I take this, and this is my 2 for sit down and get up, and I'm just going to bring all this over here, and I'm going to start from scratch, but I'm not going to delete the other stuff. So I just want to get started with sit in chair. Whenever I start to sit in chair, I want to set that to true. Begin sitting. Because when we press, we're automatically checking to see if we're at the chair. So we're good to go. So begin sitting. So begin sitting is true. So now if we come in here, let's create a new variable, and it's going to be called start sitting. And I'll probably create some more variables too, but that's the first one I want to create is start sitting. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to cast to player underscore base, which is my player character. And I'm going to get this from try get pawn owner. Since I already have that in there, I'm going to run it off of that. And the variable that we want to check is begin sitting. So let's get begin sitting, and let's run a branch node. If you guys got other suggestions on how I can fix this damn problem, for the multiplayer replication of sitting your ass in a damn chair. It is stopping my entire game project because of this. So if begin setting is true, then we want to set that to true. If not, we want to set start setting to false. So, okay. It's not really going to matter on that part, but we just want to make sure that if we begin setting here, then we need this. So I'm going to go to the anim graph. And I'm going to go into my default state machine. We only want to start sitting while we're at idle. So I'm going to drag off from here, and I'm going to add a state. Start sitting down. Okay, so I want to go from idle to this. Whenever I do that, I want this to actually be, and I can't use a montage. It won't let me use a montage this way. So it may not actually work. So we want to go from stand to sit. So I'm going to drag that animation in and connect that across here. So that's what we're going to do whenever we tell it to do that. And we're going to go into here and grab this, start sitting. I want to get, if it's true, then we can start sitting down. Alright, so let's compile and save. Let's go back to default. Now, what I want to do is I want to go from start sitting down to add a new state. Sitting. I can only go from this animation to here, and then from here I want to go back to idle run. So let's just move that to right there. So this is how I want this to work, is whenever I want to start sitting down, I press the E key and it plays this animation. Sitting, we want sitting idle. So now that's what we're doing there. So let's compile and save. And now to go from sitting to this, we actually need to delete that line. Let's delete that. So we want to go from here to add a new state, sitting or standing up. Standing up. So now we want to go from here to here, and then from here to here. So we need a condition to go, and let's go back to our event graph, and let's add sitting state, and let's add another one, standing up. Stand your ass up. You like that name? Thank you. Compile and save. Go back into here. So to go into that, we want to grab sitting state, drop it on here, and compile and save. Default. Go from sitting to standing up. Stand your ass up. You could have also done, and actually, let's go into this one. Let's delete this. I'm going to delete that, and sitting state, I'm going to drag that in there, get, and then I'm going to type in not boolean, and now I am not sitting. If I'm not sitting anymore, then that's how I'm going to be able to enter this next state. So from idle to run, we need to start sitting as true so that I can do the sit down animation. To go from that animation to here, I need to set, this is probably not going to work correctly, but this one, we're going to be sitting state, go from sitting state to standing up. We basically say we're not sitting anymore, and to go from this one to this one, standing up, we want to go from sit to stand for the animation. Throw that in here. This definitely works for setting up an animation system for single player. We're going to keep getting an error because I haven't finished filling in this. Let's go ahead and add that other variable, stop sitting. Yes, this is the only job that I have, and I would say that I make a living from it, but nobody pays me. The only thing I sell is that simple multiplayer Steam template, and I work off of tips and donations. It's the only income that I get, and I don't make much from that. Maybe because I suck, and I can't even make a damn character sit down and stand back up correctly in multiplayer. Maybe if I didn't suck so bad, that would work. So, again, stop sitting, not sitting, sitting state, and start sitting. So go back in here. If start sitting is false, we also want to, I guess, stop sitting would then be true, right? Well, first off, we just want to test this one. What happens when we start sitting? So let's actually go back in here and change this back to 1 and play in selected viewport. So now it's not going to do anything until I'm actually at the chair. Okay, and that I'm fine with. It's playing the animation, but it's not getting to the other state. So that's no problem. When we tell it to sit in chair, we're telling it to begin sitting. Alright, that's good. So some of the other things that we had set up right here is we had the chair transform. So I'm just going to grab this and this. And go ahead and connect those in. So it's going to force me back in the third person view. It's going to get the transform location of the actual toilet that I'm going to, or chair I'm going to be sitting in. Toilet. Still focusing on that damn toilet. Let's go ahead and get a reference to our mesh. And no, we need a reference to our character movement here. And we want to deactivate our character movement. Probably going to need that mesh reference here in a few minutes anyway. But begin sitting. So we got that, a chair transform, which is our location of where we're going to go to. We don't need to play animation and the delay right now. We might need that delay. So let's grab this delay and put that in there. That's already got the time for the animation in it. And then let's add in another one. Nope, we got a variable right here, is sitting. So I want to set is sitting to true. So what this right here does is it's giving my location and rotation to be in for whenever I start doing the animation. So in fact, this actually needs to be moved. Because when we do this, we want to go ahead and change our view, set our location, and then stop our movement. And right here, we want to go ahead and begin sitting. Then we want to run a delay. of the time for that, and then set that prompt to is sitting. So now if we go back into our animation blueprint, I'm just going to ignore those for right now. Start sitting, and let's drag off from here. Get is sitting. Hello, hello, hello. I'm trying to move you. Wake the hell up. Alright, so now we're going to run that branch node here. So if is sitting is true, then we want to set sitting state to true. It's background saving, and even though I've got it disabled, it's still doing it. So let's see if that actually works here. So it's not going to do anything until I'm here, and I say begin sitting. It doesn't do the animation. So it's doing begin sitting, start sitting, is sitting, set that to true. Let's review these again. Alright. Yeah, I'm spitballing here, trying other options. This is absolutely just torquing me off. You did get it working? God, that would be a savior. I'm gonna get rid of this crap. Because I know that by doing it here in the animation blueprint, it should work. Well, let's go back to... I'm going to revert this back to where I was. Dump all this. Delete. Delete. And... have that going there. That going there. Oh, this comes back over here. Alright, well I'll drop out of this stream here in just a second, and then I'll get with you on Discord. Because this has stopped my entire frickin' project. But I did move activate the sitting, the movement, because what was happening was someone could come over here and sit down, everything was lovely, and they're trying to move now, and they could actually move like this. And damn it, it's still doing it. I'll fix that shit later. Alright, well, I'm gonna get off this stream, and I'll check this out, what John's got going on, and we'll try to update you guys on this as we go, and I'll announce what this actual project is here shortly. So I'll start streaming again here in a little while, and I'll start continuing on with this project once this is fixed. Alright guys, we'll see you soon.